MSME ministry itself says that only 8% MSMEs get credit. The financing is through banking channel is only 8%. And this ICRA has done a study recently, I have seen that, and they project that the gap between what is being given and the demand is 25 lakh crore. इतने का डिमांड है, तो फिर क्यों नहीं बढ़ती? क्या बात है, क्या वो करता है? तो मेरे को लगता है कि वी आर सर्चिंग सॉल्यूशंस. अब जब हम कहते हैं सब्जेक्ट की रिसरेक्टिंग, इनहेरेंटली इट मीन्स कि उनमें प्रॉब्लम है, बीमारी है, उसको ठीक करना है. तो बीमारी को ठीक करने के लिए पहले ये जानना ज़रूरी है डायग्नोसिस की बीमारी क्या है. अगर वो नहीं करेंगे तो बीमारी ठीक नहीं होगी, हम सुपरफिशियली उसका वो करेंगे. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल अगर मैं एक पार्लांस में देखूं, हम एवरी देयर इज़ ए करोड्स ऑफ रुपीज़ इज़ स्पेंट ऑन एडवर्टीज़मेंट कि तम्बाकू का जो है कंजम्पशन नहीं होना चाहिए. वार्निंग लिखते हैं उसके लिए, बीमारी को ठीक करने के लिए, टोबैको इज़ इंजूरियस टू हेल्थ. लेकिन ये कैंसर देता है, कैंसर बढ़ता है, एवरीबडी नोज़ इट. लेकिन हम तंबाकू को बंद नहीं करते, हम सिगरेट को बंद नहीं करते, हम और सॉल्यूशन ढूंढते हैं कि किस तरह से किया है. आई मीन द रीज़न गिवन इज़ कि वो अगर है तो जो गवर्नमेंट की इनकम है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगी, उससे काफ़ी टैक्सेस आते हैं. बट देन हैज़ देन स्टडी बीन डन कि क्या उस जो इनकम टैक्स जो इनकम होती है उससे ज़्यादा हम खर्च करते हैं बीमारी पे, और उसके कितने आदमी मरते हैं, उनकी वैल्यू क्या है? ऐसा हम नहीं किया है. इसका भी यही है कि जो सिकनेस हुई कहाँ से हुई. तो मैं क्लू लेना चाहूँगा इस प्रीवियस पैनल से कि जो सिकनेस हुई है इट इज़ नॉट बिकॉज नेसेसरली ऑफ इनएफिशिएंसी. It is, they said, it's a nexus between industry and banking, but another part is totally lost. It's a nexus between banking, industry, and politician.
So, to enable long-term money for the sector, there's a lot that needs to be done. One is that the expansion of acceptability of the rating scale has to move down. Today, long-term money is available to only the top-notch or the AAA rated ones players as well, only. And even from the foreign sources, you need to be having an investment grade to enable to get yourself a ECB funding, which is a long-term source of getting money. But then, if you see the way things are shaping these days, rating agencies are looking into rationalizing the rating scale, and they are far and fewer players in the AAA scale. Now, that gap is really widening. While the AAA players are going lower, the availability of money for the lower rank players is even far lesser. And this dichotomy is only worsening for now. What needs to be done is that whether it's the schemes of the mutual funds or the regulations coming from IRDA or the PFRDA or the mutual funds of SEBI has to now become a little more liberal to allow schemes to invest in a AA category papers as well. That will create a lot of depth in the market, and then that liquidity can flow to players who need money for long term. Yeah. And while these have been into discussion for a long time, nothing much has transpired here. And that's precisely why crises like what we saw happened, because the refinance risk comes more prominent. Because while I'm having an asset which is holding for 10 years, I need to get my liability refinanced every 3-4 years. As long as this issue doesn't get addressed with availability of long-term money to a more wider market, by looking into categories of rating which is below AAA as well, this problem will not get resolved. So we have actually ourselves also written to these regulators to consider the element of looking into lower rating scales as well to allow money to flow into those categories.
From that data, what we have analyzed from the demand side is that there are 6 crore individual income tax pays in the country. CBDT says the data is somewhere around 5 to 5.5 crores. We say it is 6 crores, we increase it. In comparison to that, the individual credit history and fraud database is 7.5 crores. And in comparison to that, there are 44 crore PAN cards issued to individuals. So why this discrepancy of having 6 crore individual income tax returns and 44 crore PAN cards? This happened because when a small loan person comes, say somebody is looking for a loan between the range of 10,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees, when they go to a bank, the bank immediately says, the bank manager over there says, क्या तुम income tax भरते हो? क्या तुम्हारा PAN card है? So he goes back from that bank without any loan. Plus, when PAN cards were issued, a self-employment opportunity was created for sons and daughters of our drivers or our maids, which would sit on Sansad Marg or near passport offices, passport seva offices, and they would say, rupees 50 mein PAN card banwaiye. So how they sold this PAN card was that if you get the PAN card made, you will get a loan. So now very interesting data which came out to us was that we have about 12 lakh borrowers belonging to this category of 25,000 rupees to 1 lakh. Every time a borrower comes to a branch to seek a loan, the first thing they say is not the amount, not where they're from, not what they're taking the amount, the loan for. They say, "Hamare paas PAN card hai, hame loan de dijiye." Right? So when you subtract 44 crores from 7.5 crores, which is the individual data, you get a figure of approximately 36.5 crores. Now this is the underbanked and unbanked sector. And what is this sector looking for? This sector is only looking for 25,000 rupees per annum loan. And all they want to do is, they want to do animal husbandry, papad making, sandwich shop. You go to Bombay, you go to Nariman Point, you will see young women sitting with their sons and daughters having castrol of food, selling 10 rupees make chapati, dal and chawal. Yeah. And entire Bombay survives on that. Right? So that is what they need the money for. And that is 25,000 rupees per annum. So you get a market of 8 lakh crores. So demand is definitely not a problem.
Now, in this today's context, we also need to pay more attention to convergence of these possibilities which has happened, like say fintech kind of experiments which have very successfully happened. There's a lot of strength in that technology-driven kind of thing. Many NBFCs don't have access to that. So if as an aggregate, as a nation, as a kind of financial system, we are able to ensure that those who don't have it, but they have high-touch kind of presence at the grassroots. So if this can be made available, I think it will go a long way in terms of de-risking the kind of this particular segment. Also, delivery capacity will go up. And this is where one more thing I would like to mention is that when we are talking about credit and other financial services, risk perception, so actual risk and risk perception, both are very important. And this is where we need to look at the segment which is catered to by the financial markets, particularly the NBFCs. Where is the risk coming from? So it's not only from integrity of the borrower or from this and that. It's coming from various things, like costs which are there, which reduce the competitiveness and also kind of impact the feasibility and viability of the business. So costs associated with technology, infrastructure, logistics, accessing the markets, and transaction costs with the governance. All this, I think, as a system, we need to pay more attention to convergence, I would like to say.